So this is a continuation of section 8.1 on linear functions, and we have been working on finding what is the equation of a particular line. We're on number 12, and it says write an equation of the line using function notation. We have that the slope is 0 and the line goes through -3, -1 as the point. Okay, you're given the slope, and I hope that when you see the slope is 0, you realize that you're dealing with one of the two what I might call special lines. What kind of a line has a slope of 0? Okay, if m is 0, we know that we are dealing with a horizontal line. That's just going hopefully in your mind. If a line is a horizontal line, what kind of equation will you see? What's the form of it? And you can look at your blue sheet for help. It is y equals a number. Now, when it is a horizontal line, when the equation is y equals a number, what it means is every point on that horizontal line will have the same y coordinate. That means that if -1 is the y coordinate of this point, then -1 will be the y coordinate of every point. It is the line y equals -1. So this little sequence shows our thought process. The slope is 0, told us it was a horizontal line, and that told us that it was of the form y equals. I went to the given point to grab the y value. Horizontal and vertical lines should be very fast to do. No, not at all. All right, so that was problem number 12. Number 13, write an equation of a line using function notation. This time we are told that we have a horizontal line and it goes through, I'm sorry. Okay, can y'all take notes? Let me, all right. Back to this, we have a horizontal line and it goes through the point 0, 3. All right, slope. We always have to start with slope. This problem we aren't given slope. We're given that it's a horizontal line. The slope is 0. Now, you honestly could survive without writing that fact down just fine. When you have a horizontal line, when the slope is 0, whether you knew one or both of those facts, what's the form of the line? It is y equals a number. And in this particular problem, 3 is the y value, so it's y equals 3. So this one is similar to problem number 12. You actually did not have to have this statement. You did not have to have that the slope was 0. Because a horizontal line, you might have had its format. Okay, so that was 13. Let's look at 14. It says, find the equation of the line that goes through the point 1, 7, and it is parallel to y equals 2x minus 4. Now, what is it that you really ought to know about a line as you get started, trying to find its equation? Slope, okay? Now, the slope is not going to come from the information about the point. The slope is going to come from the information about being parallel to this line. What do you know about parallel lines? Not necessarily undefined, but I think somebody else said it. The same. Parallel lines have the same slope. So, can you identify for me what the slope of this line is? It is 2. This line is in slope-intercept form, so the number in the position of M is the slope. The slope is 2. You just told me that parallel lines have the same slope. So, my slope for my line is also 2. Now I'm going to write on this parallel lines, same slope. That's why I was able to grab M equals 2 and bring it over here. The problem has now changed a little bit. Now I know that I have a line that I'm trying to get its equation. It goes through a point and it has a particular slope. If I have point and the slope, I use the point slope equation. And we used it a few times yesterday. It is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Let me pull those back up into view. The point given is always your x1, y1. And I have the slope. So that gives me y minus 7 is equal to 2 times x minus 1. So it is y minus 7 is equal to distributive property. That's 2x minus 2. My last step is to add 7. And I get y is equal to 2x plus 5. And that is my equation. The first part of the problem involved me coming up with the slope. It was not a calculation, it was an identification. I looked over here and said, oh, my line is parallel to this line. I identified that they had the same slope. Slope here is 2, so my slope is 2. The second part of the problem was point slope. Are y'all okay with that, or does anybody have a question? Okay, let's look at 15. Problem 15 says, find the equation of the line that goes through the point 3, negative 1, and is perpendicular to 6y equals x minus 12. All right, I'm looking for the equation of the line. What is it I have to know first? The slope. I can't get slope from a single point. Do you know something about slope and perpendicular lines? They are opposite and reciprocals. Opposite reciprocals. So if I could figure out the slope of this line over here, then I can make its opposite reciprocal to be my slope. Is this equation in slope-intercept form right now? Does it say y equals? No, it says 6y equals. So I need to first of all divide everything by 6. And that gives me y equals, all right, I would like to write the coefficient of x. Do y'all agree that there is an implied 1 right there? So the coefficient is the fraction 1/6 x, and then do the division minus 2. All right, this is now y equals mx plus b what is the value of the slope of this line? All right, this given line, the slope is 1/6. What's going to be the slope of my line? Yes. Okay. M is -6. Now, how did we get that? We have perpendicular. And what does that mean? That means opposite. Well, it used to be positive 1/6, and now it's negative. It also means reciprocal. Used to be 1/6, now it's 6/1. I changed its sign and I flipped it over. And I was motivated to do that because of the word perpendicular. So part 1 again was finding the slope. Part 2, what do I have? Yes, I'm going to use again point slope because that's what I have. So pushing that out of sight for just a minute. I need to use y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So it's y. Let's go back up. All right, do y'all agree the y value is -1? So I'm going to have y minus a -1 is equal to, the slope was -6 times x minus 3. Okay, so the information, this is my x1, y1, this is my slope. You want to be careful. This is the first problem I think we've had where one of the coordinates was negative. I have minus minus, which turns into plus. This becomes y plus 1 is equal to -6 times x minus 3. So I have y plus 1 is equal to distributive property, -6x plus 18. Final step, subtract 1, and y is equal to -6x plus 17. Positive 18 and a -1 gives me 17. Is that okay? So if I go back, just to kind of recap, I am told that my line goes through a particular point, and any time it says through a point, you can bet that's your x1, y1. Then it went on to say it's perpendicular to a given line. Perpendicular, okay, I can use that to find the slope. Find the slope of the given line, change it to its opposite reciprocal to get the slope of my line. And then it turns into a point slope problem. Point slope is used a lot. All right, let's look at 16. It says find the equation of the line through -3, -7, parallel to 4x plus 3y equals 7. When I read that it is through a point, I am immediately thinking that that will be my x1, y1. I go to the information about parallel, and that's where I'm going to get the information about the slope. Okay. What do you know about parallel lines? Same slope. So if I know the slope of this one, I know it's the slope of my line. Do you see, the way it's written right now, do you see the slope of this line? No, because it's not in y equals format. So I will subtract 4x. So 3y is equal to -4x plus 7. Divide by 3. Divide everything by 3. And I get y is equal to -4/3 x plus 7/3. Now that is y equals mx plus b format. And there's my slope. So for this line, for this given line, the slope is negative 4/3. What do I get to bring over here for the slope of my line? It is the same. It is negative 4/3. The reason? Parallel lines, same slope.
So does it always change from a positive to a negative when you're doing?
No, in fact, mine's identical right now. Negative 4/3, negative 4/3. When it changes is when the words are perpendicular to instead. So if it says it's perpendicular, not only does it change its sign, but it also flips over. Perpendicular, opposite, reciprocal. But when it is parallel, it's the same. No change whatsoever. All right? Yes?
Up on the top, after you subtract the 4x from both sides,
Uh-huh.
same as 3y equals negative 4x.
Uh-huh.
Where is that coming from?
Well, you actually said it. When I subtracted 4x from both sides, I can't take a 4x away from a 7 because they're not like terms. So I just listed them. Okay? Anybody else before we go on? Because now we've got the slope, we've got a point, so what am I about to use? Point slope. So I've got y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. The y value is negative 7. So I have y minus negative 7 is equal to negative 4/3 is the slope times x minus a negative 3. Did I remember the x value correctly? Everything was negative in this one. What do you do with y minus negative 7? It's y plus 7. It is still negative 4/3 times. Instead of x minus negative 3, it is x plus 3. Way up here. Okay. It had gotten off the screen. Is everybody okay? All right. Now, I need to use the distributive property. I am dealing with a fraction. It's still not bad. I have y plus 7 is equal to negative 4/3 times x is negative 4/3 x. Negative 4/3 times 3. Well, negative 4/3 times 3. What would you do? You would put the 3 over 1. You would divide out the 3's. And it would equal negative 4. Now, I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides, and I have y is equal to negative 4/3 x minus 11. So if you're told two lines are parallel, you get the slope of the given line and use it. If you're told that two lines are perpendicular, you get the slope of the given line, you change it to its opposite sign, and flip it over as a reciprocal. Then, point slope. Are we okay on 16? All right. 17. I think it's going to be back to an easier problem. It said, find the equation of the line, use function notation. We want a horizontal, or we are told, I'm sorry, that we have a horizontal line and it goes through -5, 8. Okay. Horizontal line. The slope is 0. It is of the form y equals something. These are great facts to have tied together in your brain. Somebody says horizontal line, you think slope is 0, y equals something. Look at your point. What is the y value? 8. So it is going to be the line y equals 8. Done. The reason that this exercise didn't have any vertical lines where you had to do x equals, at least I think the reason was because this lesson is about functions, and a vertical line is not a function. So I think that's why they're left out of the lesson.
What happened to the -5?
We totally ignored it. We don't need it because this line, which is a horizontal line and it's cutting through the y-axis at 8, every point on it is something, comma, 8. And so -5 is just one of a infinite number of values. It's irrelevant because it said y equals. So I only took the y value from the point. All right, that's going to conclude 8.1 Part 2, and then we'll continue with another lesson.